We are 5 in 1 and we are going to present our art research about the study of art through history, making an analysis of the current situation in a primary education class according to the interpretation of artworks and its link with history. We have chosen this subject since we have observed that the assignment of art is not taught in the last years of primary education. The problem is related to the fact that they view historical works merely from an aesthetic point of view and don't pay attention to the intrinsic message that the works want to give, as well as the historical moment where they were made. The theoretical framework is mainly the primary education curricula of Murcia and the theory of multiple intelligence of Gardner, mostly the one of visospatial intelligence, and also the purpose that art is an excellent tool for creativity, imagination, intuition, spontaneity and manual skills. The limitations that we have found doing this research have been the lack of time to implement the research because of the current situation and the no chance to implement this research in a larger scale of students.
According to the objectives, the first one is to demonstrate the lack of visual education among the students in the 6th course of primary education, conducting a survey that highlights their interpretative skills in both understanding explicit historical paintings and more abstract historical artistic compositions. Secondly, we want to establish a relationship between historical and artistic disciplines. As throughout the interpretation of different artistic compositions, students are able to understand to a greater extent certain historical moments. Thirdly, we want to connect this problem with the absence of the subject of artistic education in the last years of primary education. And as a final step, we want to propose the creation of an artistic work done by the students once that they have understood the importance of art in our lives and of artistic creation in the understanding and the representation of a given historical moment.
Is qualitative, empirical, and deductive in the fieldwork of historical education and art. To collect information, we use virtual questionnaires about history they have studied this year. They are divided in 2 sections. The first, multiple choice question with realistic and abstract pictures, and the second, open questions about our pieces of art we have created about the Second Industrial Revolution. The problem of questionnaires are students have access to internet, so they can search for the response. About our pieces of art that we have created, we've made 2 with different techniques, collage and photomontage. In the first case, we have selected key representative elements of the Second Industrial Revolution and we have distributed them in the space currently. For aesthetics, we have tried to follow a specific color palette, with bright colors, the opposite of what is normally found in the different representations about the specific historical moment, that they usually represent with dark colors. In the second case, we try to represent the social classes division by dressing up ourselves a montage into a common scenario, a train station. The final work is in black and white in order to be accurate with the epoch.
Our analysis instrument consists on an evaluation test of historical artistic content. In the surveys, we ask them first to identify the historical moment represented by realistic works of art containing descriptive elements. But results in this part were confusing since we found that some students were not able to relate some historical terms to their representation. Later, they were asked about more abstract artistic works of art whose intrinsic merit had to be supported by a more suggestive visual analysis. But this time, we asked them to justify their answers in order to obtain more argumentative data. The visions of the participants transmit to us that there is a sign of recognition that in a painting there is a purpose beyond aesthetics. On the other hand, they believe that artistic work can only be merely represented in a descriptive way or a long time ago. What is more, if they have not studied in a school, they will not be of importance.
Well, in the second part of our survey, we presented to the students 2 modern representations. The first one was a collage, and the students described the scene with the arrival of the steam engine and the development of ships for commercial exchanges, large-scale industrial production, or the use of coal as a source of energy. In the second piece of art, the photomontage, the students recognized it through the characters' clothing that they were part of different social groups, such as the bourgeoisie or factory workers.
By carrying out this research, we achieved our main objectives. We observed that even the first paintings have very identifiable characteristics, children are not able to recognize their context. This is because they don't have enough artistic culture, since art is still considered a minor subject. In Spanish educational system, art is undervalued due to the higher relevance of logical and rational thinking in society. The school is the main and in some cases the only educational agent. This means that the only students who achieve a higher knowledge in artistic are the ones whose families or them are interested in this field. The difficulties to recognize the meaning of the paintings increase when they are represented in an abstract way. We believe that teaching history and art in a cross-disciplinary way can be beneficial. In history, students can learn through a perceptive support, and in art, it can serve as a basis for artistic culture. We can also develop intrapersonal and interpersonal intelligences. Showing and explaining paintings with the intentionality of representing the situations and feelings of the authors at a given time can serve to encourage children to express themselves artistically. One proposal that could be made would be to reflect on some painting of some historical moments that they have studied. Once they have understood the importance of artistic creation in a given context, they will be asked to make an artistic representation of the moment they are living and their ideas and feelings.